It's almost like seeing a haircut that George Clooney has, and you're like, oh, I'll get that haircut. And then you go and get the haircut, and you're like, why don't I look like George Clooney?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, God. Yes. Welcome back to Is It Still Good? This is the show where we take our rose-colored glasses, we take them off, we bury them in a hilltop somewhere under an unmarked grave, and we wait for years and years and years until someone comes and digs it up to build a house, and then those glasses end up haunting their house, and then in real life, a kid dies. And it's with the set of eyes that remain that we look upon the culture of our youth, and we ask ourselves if it's still good. You're here with two grown-up film students who hate growing up. I'm Bear Kennedy in Chicago. Joining me as always,
Andrew Carter in Los Angeles. Hate growing up. We look a little grown up today, though. I got a mustache, and Bear has you have a nicely trimmed beard.
I'm debating if I'm going to let it go again. I'm
like to what it was a couple months ago?
Yeah. Like, do I not shave until April?
I mean, it's the winter. It's coming up.
It's true. It
definitely makes sense seasonally.
It absolutely does. And I love it in the moment, and then I hate it afterwards.
Right.
Like, I look at pictures of myself and I'm like, why? But when I have it going at full strength, it's very good.
I get it. Yeah, it's almost one of those things that's nicer in theory than it is in practice. You know, it's like you see someone with a really good beard and you're like, I want that. But then you grow yours and I'm like, why doesn't it look like that guy? It's almost like seeing a haircut that George Clooney has and you're like, oh, I'll get that haircut. And then you go and get the haircut and you're like, why don't I look like George Clooney?
I agree with that. And I don't know if you ever buy a haircut off a poster. You know, they have like the thing. Like, oh yeah, give me the number 3 or whatever.
I've done that like once. Once or twice.
I've done it before too, and I swear to God, they just give you whatever they feel like.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. I remember also in 8th grade. I can't remember. I think it was like it was after a couple months after my first kiss, first French kiss. So I think I was feeling pretty cool.
Yeah, really feeling
And
yourself.
I remember Ashton Kutcher was like huge, and Punk'd was out, and he was just like super famous. And he was on the cover of Rolling Stone. And I think some girl had mentioned that she liked Ashton Kutcher's hair or something. And then I remember I went to the barbershop literally with the Rolling Stone magazine and said that, like, give me that hair. And the guy, of course he did it. And it was nothing like, what I was, but it was literally just me being like, why don't I look like Ashton Kutcher, as opposed to what's wrong with the haircut? That's what it is. It's like you see someone and you're like, I want to get a haircut like them, and then you're just mad that you don't look like them.
I have earnestly told multiple barbers to make me look like Morrissey, and it's never worked.
That's such a funny choice.
Yeah, like very seriously. Like, give me the Morrissey cut, and they're like, all right, sir, and then no.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna go with whatever makes you look like you're balding less, because this is bad.
But to your point, are you balding?
Oh, 100%. We're getting some. Well, the front is not bad, but the back zone,
the back. Okay.
This area is a problem.
Yeah.
That's leaving. That is taking a permanent vacation. So.
Is your dad bald?
No, but my mother's father was super bald. And that's what they say.
My mother's father was super bald too, and I still have all my hair. So I don't know where it comes from, but my mother's father went bald when he was 24 or 25, and I'm 32, and I still have, like, I haven't shown any signs. I mean, look, I very well could be bald, you know, at one day, but I guess I stopped worrying about it a long time ago. There was a time when I was terrified, like obsessive about it, like for about a year, like 23 to 24.
Did you get on anything for it, or did you just
No, I thought about it though.
Yeah.
I thought about going on Propecia. I know some people that are on Propecia, and I think I had heard that like it like fucks with your sex drive, or you can't get an erection or something like that. So I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. But then now I'm on antidepressants, and every once in a while I'll have to deal with that. So, I mean, it's like it all comes out in the wash.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. You wouldn't want to double down on soft.
Right, you don't want to double down. But it's, I was obsessed with it for like a year in my early 20s because I had just gotten out of like my first long-term relationship, and I just remember thinking like, I'm going to be like old and bald and ugly and like no one's gonna love me or some stupid vain thing like that. And I remember my grandma eventually told me, she was like, your grandpa always said grass doesn't grow on busy streets, to justify his baldness. And so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
That's also how he justified shaving his pubes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, I remember I was legitimately terrified of losing my hair. And I remember it would be these like cognitive distortions where I would go like this, like pull my hairline back.
Don't do that to yourself.
But here's the thing. It literally has looked the same like it does right now for probably since I've been alive. I'm not even kidding. But there were times, I kid you not, when it looked exactly like it does now. And I remember being in an airplane bathroom once and going like that and being like, it's happening. I'm fucked. Like it's happening. I can see it. And it was a perfect example of, wow, you're seeing what you want to see. It was almost as if I wanted to be balding just so I could be like, see, it's happening. I told you. Yeah, I was also terrified. It's weird.
It's a bad spiral. You can't enjoy life if you're counting follicles. It's not healthy.
You can't. I don't know when I let go of it. I don't know how. It wasn't like a moment. It was, I don't know, probably, I really don't know. But eventually I just stopped caring about it. And now I really don't care about it. I mean, I like my hair, but at the same time, I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know, just to your thing of like your mother's father, I guess it can come from there, but I always thought because my mom's dad was bald, I was like, well, it's only a matter of time. But now that it hasn't happened, so I guess I'm a little skeptical.
As Eddie Furlong would say, there's no fate but what we make for ourselves.
Is that from American History X?
I like how if I drop an Edward Furlong, that's the first thing you think of is American History X.
Well, I mean,
he's in a bigger movie than that.
Yeah, Terminator 2. Is that what it's from?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought because the way the quote sounded, I was like, oh, maybe it is, because isn't that movie about like redemption from being neo-Nazis and stuff?
It is, and that's a great movie. But yeah,
it is a great movie.
He has a really weird line delivery in T2 where he's explaining to the Terminator that quote his mom used to say. He's like, "There's no fate but what we make for ourselves." And I hate it.
So many of his line readings in that movie are really weird.
Bizarre.
Like when he's on the motorcycle and he's like, okay, hold up. And you're just like, what? What are you?
I've done the full 5 shades of, whatever, 5 steps of grieving with him in that performance. I've gone from, denial to just hating it to actually liking it.
I haven't, when I first watched it, I was at the hate, and I've only seen that movie like twice.
All right, add it to the list, baby.
I know, I need to watch it again, but I've never really loved his performance in it, so maybe I'll watch it again and like it. But anyway, we digress. We're here today to talk about carving pumpkins.
Yes.
Jack-o'-lanterns, many different names, obviously. So you obviously can't see what I've started yet if you're watching. I'm just holding the back of my pumpkin.
Oh, we having a reveal?
Yeah, we don't want to reveal it yet. I think I got a glimpse of yours, though, and it looks pretty fucking great.
It doesn't. It could smell better. I'll give you.
Oh, they smell terrible.
It smells like ass. Holy shit!
Whenever I smell the pumpkin, especially the insides, it's like I just get reminded of like old wet streets in Connecticut.
That's a very specific thing for you to say, but I've never even experienced that, and I completely get it.
Oh, of course you do.
It's so descriptive. Like, absolutely, yes.
Well, it is a part of fall foliage, rain and leaves and mud and just like old pumpkins in a field that aren't getting picked. It's terrible. But Bear and I did start carving, so we're about 90% of the way in. We're going to finish them up on the show while we discuss our memories of carving pumpkins, as well as some of the history of carving pumpkins. And so, Bear, what are some of your earliest memories with carving pumpkins? Was that a thing that you guys did as a family? Was it always a big part of Halloween, or was it just something that it was super casual?
I don't remember not doing it. I was trying to think about this. I've carved pumpkins more years than not.
Wow.
I ended up doing it last year with Jackie's family because we took a trip to Boston in October just to get Shipyard Pumpkin, the beer.
Wow.
That was it. We did like 3 or 4 days just so we could have some Shipyard Pumpkin, which is really fucking good. Good beer. Shipyard.
Shipyard. Where do they live in Massachusetts again?
They live in Salem, so also a good place to be in October because they do
great Halloween town. Was
shit.
Sandler filming his new movie when you guys went back? Because that came out on Netflix recently.
It did. I don't think he was there when we were there, but he loves filming in that area.
Yeah, I think his latest one was, if I'm not mistaken, was shot there, but maybe I'm wrong.
It was in.
I know it takes place in Salem.
Yeah, Marblehead's right next to Salem. Apparently, that's where he likes to shoot his shit. But yeah, so I remember doing this as a kid with just like a knife and doing, the just freehand, your stereotypical, eyes in a mouth type jack-o'-lantern. Which I don't know why I feel like I haven't thought of the phrase jack-o'-lantern in a long time. I just always say carving pumpkins.
Right.
So I remember doing it for a long time. I remember, I don't know when the stencils first came out, but I remember kind of graduating to the harder designs.
Yeah. Did you ever have it? Did you have a specific design that you're like, I crushed that? I couldn't, because every year I feel like I'm starting from scratch and I'm like, all right, give me something that's going to look sweet, but not so hard that I get angry. And I try to avoid getting into the situation where you've got to put toothpicks and shit in it because you fucked up. To hold the sheet in.
Yeah, all that shit. So I don't think I've ever done one that I really drilled so hard that I'm thinking about it after the fact. I even this year I did fuck up. Not horribly, but I fucked up in a way that could have been devastating. Luckily, I caught and adjusted.
Dude, it's the worst when you don't anticipate, maybe if you're carving out a letter or a shape or something, and then you forget that it's supposed to have something to keep the design hanging on, and then it all falls through. Yeah,
you've got to have it anchored to the rest of the pumpkin in some way, and that can be hard to figure out. This year, I don't know what kit you got, but my kit had instructions and numbers and shit.
Wow, yeah.
So it tells you you got to cut this part first, and the part I'm doing on the show is it specifically says it's numbered 3 out of 3.
Right.
It says carve this edge last. So I think they try to stop you from fucking it up too bad.
Yeah, which is confusing in its own way. So we had a kit from last year. We went to a pumpkin patch last year, which I got to say, even though we live in California, and frankly, October is one of the hottest months, if not the hottest months in Southern California, specifically Los Angeles. So it doesn't feel like fall at all. However, we did go to a pumpkin patch last year and the year before, and we missed doing that this year because we're not seeking them out, but I imagine they're probably closed anyway. So I just got this pumpkin at Trader Joe's because they have a nice little.
Also got mine at Trader Joe's. Yes.
Nice. They have a nice little setup out front.
Yeah, they had irregular pumpkins, which they were calling fantasy pumpkins at my Trader Joe's. I don't know
fantasy pumpkins, all right.
Yeah.
So I was originally, we had a kit with some stencils and we have, all the tools I'm holding up right now. Then we had this little thing, which is actually a little bit more efficient than it looks. This is to scoop out all the shit.
Yeah,
and it looks like a tiny little shovel.
It's for a child's hand.
Right, it is, but it's not bad. It does get the job done.
I had trouble early when it's like a mass of shit and it's stringy. That was not.
And
great.
Here's the weirdest part. I'm going to show this for anybody watching. So I've never pulled this out when I'm getting the goo out of the inside of the pumpkin. There were roots inside of the pumpkin. Here, I'll show an even bigger one. And they're green roots. Look at that. That was inside the goo and the pumpkin seeds or something.
Interesting.
That's I don't know if that's green thing is a seed or a different root. I mean, seriously though, I've never once seen that. It felt like, and I was showing it to Zoe and she was like, it might just maybe it's just not done growing. So I'm going to carve this thing and then we're going to come back. We're going to go out and then we're going to come back. It's going to be huge, like the pumpkin and Cinderella.
Put that bowl real close to the mic and just work your hands through it. Cause it sounds awful.
Oh, now I just want to wash my hands.
That's terrible.
That's awful. Yeah, I mean, did you ever like make pumpkin seeds in the oven? I remember doing that like once or twice.
No,
Zoe did it last year, or the year before. One year she did do it.
we were gonna do it this year. We sat down on a Saturday night with like two of our friends over, made some like mulled apple cider.
Ooh, that's
in the
nice.
crock pot. That was good. Took a couple edibles and carved these pumpkins, and we were thinking about doing the seeds. And it seemed like it was a lot of work, and so we did not do it. Have you done it before?
We have done it before. It is a lot of work from what I can tell, but Zoe likes doing that stuff. She likes baking. And so for her, it's not a lot of work at all. At least from what I can tell, she doesn't complain and doesn't really like, I know myself and I would be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like I would just fucking despise it because you have to take it all apart and take out all the guck and everything. And it's just gross.
It seemed
but
like
originally, but in terms of the stencils, originally I was going to do this ghost. Yeah. But if you can see the pumpkin I chose, the stencil is quite literally too big for it.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't do it. So I improvised a little bit with my design. It's an original, like I'm not stenciling anything. I'm just carving something. I'm excited to see how it turns out. I'm excited to, finish it up and show it. But it's simple, but I think it's effective.
Yeah. Simply profound.
Simply a profound, maybe even a little profane. If we'll see. It depends on who's looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm actually just fixing up a little part of it right now. But yeah, in terms of the history of jack-o'-lanterns, what did you find? Because I found. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was looking up some shit, and sometimes as a kid I remember thinking like, all right, why do we do this shit? Like why do we carve pumpkins on Halloween? Like, I remember like asking my parents, why do you go out and get candy and all this stuff? And usually the answer just kind of boiled down to because it's Halloween, you idiots.
Right. And, like enjoy it. This is just what it is.
Yeah. So as I did some research into pumpkin carving, that's essentially the answer. Because I guess the original carving of pumpkins has its genesis in Irish tradition, which I feel like an idiot for not having figured out because Jack-o'-lantern.
It makes a ton of sense. But what's weird about it is that from what I've heard, Halloween itself, like the trick-or-treating and all that, is not very big in the UK, like in Ireland, England, and Scotland. And I feel like it's the biggest in the US.
Probably.
So it's funny that like the pumpkin part of it came from Ireland from a totally different spot.
Very weird. And from what I could find, at least it goes back at least 150 to 200 years ago.
Right.
Where there were a couple different iterations of this story, but this legend of Stingy Jack, who was a lad in Ireland walking through the bog, and he comes upon the devil at the crossroads, as you do. And in one version of the story, I read that he was at the bar. The devil's hanging out at the bar, and he convinces the devil to pay for the round. He's like, hey, turn into a coin, Satan, and I'll pay for this round. And the devil turns into a coin. And then he puts the coin in his wallet, like next to a crucifix, which traps the devil, which he's not thrilled about. And the other one, he's running through a bog because he'd stolen a bunch of shit, comes across the devil at the crossroads and tells him, hey, how about you turn into a coin? I'll pay off all this stolen shit, that I've taken. I'll give the coin to these villagers who are chasing me for the stolen shit. And then you can disappear later and they'll blame each other and fight each other. It'll be hilarious. And then the devil's like, that sounds like a great plan. Let's do that. And he's like, all right, in exchange for this plan, you don't take my soul. It's like, yeah, whatever. Good. And so he turns into a coin, and then Jack puts him in his wallet and next to a crucifix, and he traps him for a bit. And so the devil's angry about this. And later on, Jack dies, goes up to heaven. God's like, your whole life has been bullshit. You're not getting into here. Go talk to my brother. So he goes down to hell. The devil's like, yeah, I remember you Irish sack of shit. I'm not taking you into hell either. I told you I wouldn't take your soul. So you can walk around the dark earth for the rest of your eternity. So I'm not letting you into hell. And to light your way, I'll give you one coal. And so
This is fucked.
Yeah, Jack takes the one coal, hollows out a turnip, puts it in there, and that's his lantern. So he becomes Jack of the Lantern. And he's wandering around. So like typically, October is kind of the time when the dead are walking around or spooky shit's happening. So he's one of the people kind of trapped in October, wandering around, and you make a jack-o'-lantern to display to keep the jack-o'-lantern away from your shit. So that's a long history I found. There's a couple different versions of this, but it kind of sounds like shit. I mean, in some of the stuff I read, like he encounters the devil multiple times and he kind of tricks him, which is like, at some point, if you're Satan, you just got to stop fucking with this guy.
Probably.
But I especially liked how no matter what happens, the devil always promises him he won't take his soul. And then when he shows up at hell's, the crowded gates of hell later, the devil's like, oh yeah, not only do I remember you, but I remembered our promise. I'm honoring it, but I'm going to fuck you over in a different way.
Oh my God.
So I like that.
That is good.
That's what I could find. And so I guess that kind of tradition, came over to America in the 1800s when a bunch of Irish people couldn't make French fries for a couple of years. So they ran out of shit to eat and had to come over here. And they kind of brought that with them. And now it's just like an accepted part of Halloween,
right?
Which is interesting. So it is weird. I mean, like we take a lot of these traditions as if they were shouted at us from Jesus Christ himself from like 2,000 years ago.
Right.
But stuff gets weird over time and it morphs and things become accepted very quickly.
Right. But people are just weird about, people are weird about traditions in general, but specifically Halloween, people are weird about Halloween.
I think we talked about it a little bit. Yeah. I like Halloween fine, but I am not super into it despite being someone who loves horror and scary shit.
I like it, but I like this. I like the feel.
Yeah.
And I like the mood that it, inspires and everything. I like October. I'm with you on that one, but I'm not like, some people get really into the costumes and then like they dress up multiple weekends, like they have and multiple costumes. Like I can't imagine.
I can't either.
I barely
and I like it. I like people that do that stuff. Like that's
me too.
Fucking cool. I don't know, man. I'm not up for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not up for it either. But what I am up for is some pumpkin carving. How about that segue? It's a pretty good segue. It's pretty good. All right.
We're pros.
We're pros. We've done this a lot. I think this is our 18th episode, maybe.
Nice.
Pretty impressive.
Now, let me ask you an equipment question. So I've got the 4-piece toolkit here.
Okay.
I've used like one of the knives.
I've used like these two.
Yeah,
I use the thinner ones. Yeah, the thinner ones I feel like they're more precise. I used this one with the little handle. It's a little fatter for the top, so I can clean it out and then put the candle in at the end.
Well, that's very interesting because my instructions said to cut the bottom and leave the top. So that's why I've got a stem here and I've got an empty bottom.
Wow. Oh, I guess so you can put the candle down and put the pumpkin over it.
I think so, and it kind of makes it a little flat on the bottom. So
it does. It makes it a little more stable. Yep. Wow.
Evens out that gourd rigidity.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had thought of that.
Well, I didn't.
Fucking idiot.
It was in the instructions. But yeah, this little bastard, the detail knife is the one I've used. They have a bigger one that I haven't had a use for. One of my friends called it the sword of detail, which I thought sounded like it could be my next metal album.
The sword of detail. I like that.
All right, so you're finishing up.
I have one more word to do, but it's spaced out and it'll take like a few minutes.
All right, I've got the forehead of the vampire.
Okay.
Which is the sequel to Interview with the Vampire.
By the way, I tried watching that movie. I couldn't get through it.
I haven't seen it. I remember watching it on VHS with a babysitter when I was like 7 years old. And I didn't.
It's definitely scary for kids.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. It's a shitty movie, man. I couldn't get through it. It was fucking. It was lame.
Well, I've got my thing. I've got his forehead. I did the ear. Did everything else.
Intricate.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It was rated 3 pumpkins out of 4 on a scale from easy to challenging. I thought 2 would be a little too easy, and 4 might make me want to harm someone.
Be way too long.
Oh, I'd be using the sword of detail on my detailed wrists.
If I tilt the computer down, you'll be able to see my dog. Hi, Bill.
Oh, there he is. Bill loves gourds.
Do you hear him? Yeah.
Yes.
But the mic's picking him up. What do you think, Bill? What do you think? Good boy. Oh my God. He's just, look at him. He's just grinning like an idiot. Oh, love you. What a sweet boy. Boop, boop. Look at him. I think he just like wants some pumpkin or something. Crazy boy. All right, yeah, I'm doing my my.
So I've got to do his forehead, which is probably going to pull this whole thing together because he's got that widow's peak. My only problem here is when I was doing the stencil with the fucking thing that you poke to give yourself an outline. You know, when you put the stencil on, it conforms to the roundness of the pumpkin. And that causes a little distortion here. So I've got the nose. I've got a problem area here where I'm going to have to freehand above the nose. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my anchor to the rest of the pumpkin.
Yeah, that's scary because then you don't want to just like the whole thing to fall apart.
So this is clearly probably the most dangerous carving I've done in this experience. But I'm just going to the thing that I'm doing right now is actually proving to be a little more challenging than I expected. Yeah, I had some areas that I just overlapped my stencil.
Oh really?
Yeah, just because it just kind of shifted around. And I had it taped.
Yeah, isn't that annoying when it's like you put the stencil on and then you're like, okay, I'm this is like the line I'm doing it on, and then all of a sudden the whole thing it like shifts over a little,
and I didn't have it taped on really well because I had this like double-sided tape because I guess I don't own tape, and that was a mistake.
We recently had to get tape because we didn't own any. It was weird. It was like
you only use it.
It's like, oh, tape, yeah, it's a thing you have, but then you just when you don't have it, you don't have it.
Well, yeah, you think it's in the junk drawer, and then
and then it's not.
Fucking junk drawer.
What did Jackie do for pumpkin carving?
I can grab it. She's got the fuck, did she do a cat or some shit? Hers came out better than, well, certainly better than mine unfinished, but it was good. We did it, her and I did it at the same time, and one of our friends did one as well.
Oh, okay.
And we stayed in the 2 to 3 pumpkin, level of difficulty. And we all finished around the same time. So that was good. It was just getting super old when we ended it.
That's a nice activity to do.
It wasn't bad.
How long did it all take?
I would think like an hour.
Okay. It's fun. I mean, like the thing with pumpkin carving is like it feels like it's one of those activities that's, a group of friends can do it. Families can definitely do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it on a date.
You could definitely do it on a date.
Yeah. You can do it in a lot of different ways. Like roommates who are home, for a night can do it. It's, it feels like it's one of those activities that's very universal.
It is a communal
and accessible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm into this pumpkin for like $6.99.
Yeah.
And then you pulled a good move and saved your kit. I think I'm an idiot. I have to buy a new kit every fucking year.
See, I think we got one. So 2 years ago when we got pumpkins, I think we bought a kit and then threw it away. And then last year when we found ourselves buying another kit, I knew like, okay, this is clearly something that this is the second time we've done it in a year. We're probably going to do it again.
Yeah.
Let's save our kit because otherwise we're going to keep having to buy a new one. So yes, I highly recommend saving the kit. I mean, they're not that expensive, but I mean, like unless your tools get really, really dull, but it's, it's like pumpkins. It's not like pumpkins, are going to change their texture over the year or something, unless you try and fucking carve rocks.
Jesus. Yeah, 2020 was a year of firm gourds.
Yeah, 2020, the pumpkins are harder this year.
God, they're so firm.
Yeah, fuck. Oh my goodness. Do you remember your favorite thing that you ever carved? Pumpkin design?
I think I do remember like getting to the point where, again, pre-stencil, where I was just doing kind of the normal jack-o'-lantern, but I figured out, okay, I could add teeth to this thing. And that was big.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that is cool. I agree.
That was like, things were really opening up there. But I mean, this now I'm pulling out the final piece right now.
Oh yeah, I got one more letter.
And this vampire is not bad.
That's cool. I like that. Last year I was looking up Jurassic Park pumpkin designs last year, and I did one that was like the slash of like a raptor claw, just like a single slash with an eye in the middle, like an eye looking through it. It actually was pretty cool. It definitely looked way cooler on like the Google image that I looked up. But when I was done and like when it was dark out and we put a candle in it, I was like, you know what, that looks pretty cool. But like part of the issue was I almost fucked up the eye, because in order for it to actually look like an eye, you have to anchor it in with a little slit somehow. And I almost didn't do that. And so I think you could tell like, this is a little like messed up, but it still looked more like the design than I thought it would. So that was cool.
They remember.
Who's hungry?
This one, I did fuck up the stencil, but I didn't fuck up the cutting too bad. But in the light, you can see where I poked dots in that stencil that I then didn't cut. So this benefits quite a bit from having a candle in it. Because mistakes are not as evident.
One thing that I've done is like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I've taken Sharpie and like kind of drawn out the design. I just kind of trace off of that or cut off of that.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot. I remember last year when we carved pumpkins, Zoe and I watched the movie What Lies Beneath. You ever see that movie?
With Nicole Kidman?
No, it's Michelle Pfeiffer. Close.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, damn it.
Yeah. White Woman in Distress. It's Michelle Pfeiffer and Nicole Kidman. They're pretty
I like Nicole Kidman a lot. I don't love Michelle Pfeiffer. I always think of her.
Michelle Pfeiffer's great.
Really? I always think of her in Scarface, which is a movie I don't like.
Scarface it's entertaining, but it's definitely overrated. It's not like, it's not like some, it gets mentioned a lot in the same breath as like Goodfellas and The Godfather, and it's just not on those levels at all.
What is fueling your Michelle Pfeiffer love? What's your drop dead performance for her?
Batman Returns, she's great in as Catwoman.
Yeah, I hate Batman Returns.
Oh, the movie is so fun, but it's dark. I like how dark it is.
You mean literally because it's underlit?
Well, no, I just thought it was a lot darker than the first Batman, and I liked that.
I feel like both of the Burton Batmen. I'm just extremely
both of the Burton Batmen. I like that.
I'm extremely aware that they filmed it on a soundstage.
That's fair, but Schumacher's you can tell even more.
Those are bad.
Those are just fucking. They're not even fun. Like Batman and Robin, like it sounds fun on paper, like when you watch the honest trailer on YouTube. But then if you try to watch that movie, like with a group of friends, it'll be funny, we'll laugh. It's not fun. It's just painful.
Yeah.
Just every line sucks. But no, I think I love that movie, What Lies Beneath, and I just think Michelle Pfeiffer's really good in it. I just don't know. I've always thought that she was just, I don't know, interesting and good. Oh, I almost fucked it up. Okay, I didn't fuck it up though, so that's good. I just sawed off my final letter, and I was this close to the thing coming off.
It's thrilling when you walk up to that edge, though. You feel the call of the void.
Well, the edge just like popped a little bit, but I was able to kind of maneuver it and stick it back in to the point where it's very not noticeable. Have you seen What Lies Beneath with Harrison Ford?
It's been a long time. Harrison Ford is in that movie.
Yeah, he's fucking, and he's bad in it. He's evil.
I think I saw it in the theater. Don't they drown a child and it comes back to haunt them?
Not a child, but yeah, he has an affair with like a younger woman, and she comes back.
Someone gets murdered in a bathroom.
And he drowns. Right? Yeah, he has an affair and he drowns her because I guess she's gonna like go to the cops or something, or she's gonna like go to his wife. So he kills her, and it's I don't know. It's a really good. I feel like it's an underrated movie. But I think some people, I remember it didn't get like the best reviews when it came out, but I don't know. I've always liked it a lot.
I remember it coming out. I do think I saw it in the theater because I think it was rated PG-13 at a time. It was
PG-13, like yeah.
12 or
Dude,
something.
It's a scary fucking movie though. Like, talk
about movies that have fallen out of the rotation. I mean, that's not even making, any like. No like normal people programming like AMC.
You know what's so funny? No one talks about that movie, but I remember last year when I looked it up, and I remember when it came out too, and I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it on video, and that movie made $150 million.
That's incredible. They must have released it like on Halloween or something.
No, they released it in July. It was summer of 2000, and it was a
summer movie.
Yeah, it was a good summer movie, but I think it's an even better like fall movie. But they released it in July, and it made $150 million domestic. I think it probably made over 200 worldwide, which is pretty amazing.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
For a movie you never hear about anymore. That's bizarre.
Right. Yeah. It just goes to like that movie would probably go like straight to Netflix today or something. Which is wild. I'm ready to show if you are.
I've been ready. I gave it a little sneak peek here.
Here we go. Let's see your vampire. Are you ready to see mine?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Where did you almost fuck up on that X?
Yeah. Cause this little
that's
part
very
right
close
here. I know, very close. But I thought it was pretty good. Like yours is great, man. Wow.
It's good. I mean, like I stenciled it, so
yeah.
This is as basic as it gets. But I do like that he's got an ear. He's got a vampire
ear. Is great.
Yeah, love a little ear action.
Can you turn yours a little bit more straight?
Yeah,
I've
got my camera backwards.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he's got an ear. He's just waiting for Mr. Blonde to show up and ruin his day.
That's great.
But yeah, this came out okay.
That looks really good. Yeah, mine actually came out better than I thought too.
Yours looks really good. Yours,
yeah. I'm surprised for just text. I definitely thought it definitely came out better than I expected.
You should definitely put that in the window because that'll be a hit in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought that too, but then I realized some of our neighbors are like, they have like a 3-year-old, and I hope that he doesn't run around being like, sucks. This sucks, But I'm sure it'll be fine.
Is that considered a bad word?
I mean, I don't think you want your like toddler saying it, but no, it's not. I remember I was never allowed to say it as a kid. I remember I said something sucks, and my dad was like, "Hey, we don't do that." Yeah, he was definitely like, "Do not go there." He'd always be like, "You got no idea." Whenever I would get in trouble and be really mad at him, he'd always be like, "You got no idea," and then I'd be like, "No idea of what?" And then he always used to say that, and he never would finish. But eventually, he did finish, and it would be like, "You got no idea how much your mother and I love you," which was very sweet.
Classic bait and switch.
Yeah, but but for years it was, "You got no idea," and I'm like, "Of what? Like, finish, please." Like it was just some cryptic thing. But yeah, I think I feel good about this. So, how do you feel about carving pumpkins?
It's good. Like I said, I think it's good. I think it ends at the correct time. I think it's possible to have a bad time doing this, but I
agree.
Great point you made. Like, this is such an easy activity to do.
Right.
With family or friends, and
it gets you in the mood. It gets you in the spirit of Halloween.
It does.
I honestly thought I was going to hate this.
I did too. I did do it last year, and I liked it, but I thought this year I was going to just be like, all right, I don't have kids. What am I doing?
I know. Sometimes I think on like when you plan the idea, like when we said we were going to do this for the podcast, I was like, all right, cool. But then when it came time closer to doing it, I was like, oh, man, now I got to set it up and do all this shit or whatever.
I did not.
But it actually went a lot faster than I thought. And I think that's probably because I got a smaller pumpkin oh no.
Oh, devastating.
And Bill just ate the piece. My dog just ate it.
Immediately.
For anyone watching, I just picked this up and a piece of it fell out that ruined the thing, and he ran away to eat the piece of pumpkin.
He'll probably be fine. I mean, it's just fiber. But
Oh yeah,
so
pumpkins. He's allowed to eat pumpkin. It's fine. They even say for dietary things, dogs can have pureed pumpkin. Fuck. Now look.
Yeah. So for those of us listening, Carter's got 2020 and then sucks underneath, and there was a clear danger area between the U and the X where things were a little close, and just the violent and happy way he held it up just shot that little piece directly out of it and immediately into Bill's mouth.
Yeah,
which I applaud him for being ready.
He was ready.
Any moment to eat pumpkin.
He's a fucking puppy. When we're sitting at a table and there's food, he's always ready.
Oh yeah.
But let me tell you something. I actually think it still works.
It does work, especially because 2020 does suck. So yeah. I think it's a meta joke to have your pumpkin be a little fucked up by it as well.
That's a really, really good point. I never thought about that. But that is a great, that's a great, 2020 sucks and so does this pumpkin. As a kid, I remember carving pumpkins with my family and, doing it like as a big activity. But I don't remember any specific design that I carved, and it's never necessarily been something that I've always been like, oh, I love to do that. But when I think about it, I do get happy. When I think about, carving pumpkins, that sounds fun. Well, that'll get us in the spirit. That'll be so cool. And this was actually pretty enjoyable considering that it was, I think it totally depends on who you are and what you want to do. But for me, I have a short attention span. And so I don't necessarily want to do something super intricate.
Yeah.
I remember 2 years ago, I did the shark from Jaws, just like the poster.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Where he's like looking up. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was pretty simple and fun and it came out okay. But the teeth were really hard to do.
Yeah.
That was a pain in the ass. But I think for me at least, the simpler you go, the better, because you're gonna, you'll get it done faster. And I don't know. I think
those twos you have going are quite good.
Thank you. Yeah, Zoe actually did one of those twos.
They look like they were tough because
they actually were not that bad.
Really, I feel like that would be the tough. Really, because you got the curve and. I don't know. I feel like the curve is.
You know why? Because of the thin pieces, like the thin knives. That helps.
Did the right tools.
It helps. Yeah, if you have the right tools, it makes it a lot easier. Like if you just had a butter knife in this, good luck. Like that would never happen.
Yeah, for the $5.99, I'm gonna buy the shit.
Yeah, definitely. But this definitely gets a still good vote for me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it was a little hard to get up for it. I agree. It was agree. Oh Christ, I really have to do this. But once you're in it, it's over quick. It's fun. If you pull it off, it looks good, which I'll say I did. And even if you don't, it's kind of funny if you fuck it up.
And this was very funny.
It couldn't be lower stakes for fucking something up too.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's great.
It's not like we're making meatloaf here that like we've been, waiting for all day. Yeah, dreaming about and like preparing a recipe and then you fuck that up. It's terrible. This is definitely something that's easy to fuck up.
Final question. Did you ever smash pumpkins as a kid?
Oh yeah. I don't remember when or how, but I definitely have done that at least once.
I've never done it. I remember saying something in passing to like my dad on Halloween, like when I was a kid, like going out to like cause trouble. I was like, oh yeah, maybe we'll just smash some pumpkins or something. And my dad was like, really? That's what you're gonna spend your time on? You're gonna smash some child's pumpkin? That's gonna make you feel good? And that bummed me out so much. I've thought about it every Halloween, and that's probably over 20 years ago.
That's amazing.
So I do not approve of that.
Oh, do you mean like smashing pumpkins like other people's? No.
You go out, you smash.
No, I never did that. I smashed mine. I smashed like when they were like done and ready to be thrown away. I like would probably go out in the street, smash them, and then clean up and put them in the trash. So yeah, I mean, but no, I never would smash other people's pumpkins. That's terrible.
No,
that'd be on like Mischief Night, the night before Halloween.
Yeah. Yep.
I never participated, but I always heard about it, and I would always just be like, "Oh no, like our cars are gonna get bologna and peanut butter and eggs and all that shit." Like I was terrified, like that was gonna happen.
That's the lamest shit, but when you're in it, you think it's really cool.
Yeah, and when you hear about it, you're like, "Oh my god." Like the kids that do that are terrifying.
Yeah, awful. So never smashed a pumpkin despite being a Billy Corgan fan in my youth.
I did, not my own, but yes, I have. But yeah, Still good. I assume you agree that it's still good. Yeah,
Yep, that's two.
we're
Two for
good.
two.
So thanks for listening, everybody. We got one more week of Halloween special themed next week. We're excited about it. You can visit us at stillgoodshow.com, Instagram at stillgoodshow, stillgoodshow@gmail.com is our email if you want to send us an email. And we will see you guys next time for week 4 of 4 of our Halloween themed episodes.
Spooking out.
Spooking out. Adios. 2020 sucks.